Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. It's week 36 of the Woodland Chronicles, and today I'm walking. It's a very misty 1st of September morning, and hope you all enjoyed the lovely moon yesterday. Say that because they keep getting me at the moment, particularly I think it might well have been a Pisces moon to begin with, and then when it was full it was in Aquarius or something along those lines. I think the details kind of almost become a little bit blurred, don't they, when we have so much going on simultaneously. And just a minute ago I was actually up in the clouds here, sort of not too far from one of the local viewpoints that I have. I want to talk a bit about what we can expect from our September. Mercury's still in retrograde, alongside five other planets. Again, my astrology isn't always my strong point, so I would advise you to go and check out what the amazing Pam Gregory has got to say about what is happening and what is going on, because she always has such a clear bead on the situation or situations that are going on with the heavenly bodies. But I want to talk about speaking, vibration and truth, because as you may have already felt, or you may have gathered or perceived, or you may have been told, when we passed through the solstice gateway, embraced and embodied the Lion's Gate energies, we entered a new time frame, a new timeline. Everything became very much more aligned with the fifth dimensional frequencies. Now, this is a drum that I've been banging more and more recently, is, have we truly thought about what life in 5D will be like? It fascinates me. It literally fascinates me to think about a world where everybody speaks truth from a loving perspective. Everyone is heart aligned. Businesses, finances, education, governing bodies, if they still exist, which I doubt. All of the alignments that we have been born into, that have either benefited us or maybe taken a lot from us, mostly the latter, will be realigned with a high frequency, which means there can be no illusion, no deception, no mysterious or unhidden parts. It will be as it is. And this was very much the language, or the perception of language, that was spoken in Atlantean times. And one of the reasons why everything became so truthful in Atlantis was not only their adherence to the fifth dimensional frequencies and heart-centeredness, as the majority of them were so bloody psychic, it wouldn't matter what you say verbally. Everything was laid on the table, all the cards face up. You knew immediately whether somebody was speaking the truth, because psychically, clairsentiently, with your powers of discernment, would be able to tell whether everything was in alignment, whether the words were matching the actions and the thoughts. And this is a phase, interestingly enough, that we are in now, okay? So many of you will be now analysing information that is given to you even the words that I am speaking here this morning as I walk mistily through the woods, whether they are resonant with your version of truth and reality. And this is what is the most kind of simple but almost unpredicted downfall of what has been occurring with the beings that control the 3D matrix. So, morning. So at the moment they are being faced again and again with plans that they have created and rolled out, spent a lot of time on, a lot of energy, a lot of money, forward planning, organisation, you name it. And they're just simply being rumbled by people seeing through it. Now the veil, the fifth veil of amnesia, was removed from the third eye of humanity during the Lion's Gate of 2021. I wondered to myself many times why Lion's Gates are so important. What is it about the Lion's Gate that makes A, the energy feel quite so uncomfortable, but B, for it to be a period where action is implemented. And so in 2021, amongst all of the other fun things that were going on at the time, the fifth veil of amnesia was removed. Now, we were born with 7 veils in total across the third eye, and this was by choice. We chose to incarnate on Earth to experience life in 3D, disconnected from who we truly are, and about as far away from source energy, the heart that we came from, the primary love, as you could possibly get. And all of us have moved through our gateways, our initiations, our lessons, to reach the point where we are now. But in order for us to see, one by one, as our frequency rose, the veils had to come away from our third eye. Now you might wonder, as I'm saying these words, what has happened to the third eyes of the people that are failing to see. And I've mentioned this before. I've spoken about the power of hypnosis, programming, the actual quality of the illusion that we existed in 3D. So many people out there are so deeply programmed, they are so hypnotized and disconnected from the vibration of source truth, that they are still believing what they are told by those that seek to control them. Sorry, arm's going a bit dead. But as I have been reliably informed, and you may have heard others speaking about this, it is only a matter of time now until they wake up. Which for us is brilliant. We are all going to be living alongside people who can see the truth, who can see frequencies from the higher perspective. And that is going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing for us. But it also leaves us with a huge amount of personal work to do. And on a day-to-day basis, at the moment, part of my mission is to ask myself, am I living in truth with my own sort of values, wants, needs, mission pathway. Because the things that I'm finding out, and this is my own personal learning curve, my journey, to live in misalignment will very rapidly create physical obstacles, circumstances, scenarios, mostly energetic, that are uncomfortable to work through. And you might be experiencing this at the moment, where there are maybe just little aspects of your pathway, maybe words that you speak, people in your lives, agreements that you've made, all of these other aspects that are not aligned with the higher frequency vibrations. And one of the toughest things about stepping into 5D is that, once again, we see all of these things that are misaligned being shaken out. They are one by one, or if not in a bulk, all at once, kind of removed. I'm just going to find myself. Good morning. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to go and find myself somewhere to sit. I've just found my favourite table, and this is the one I don't really remember. It was a few months ago. I was sat in this beautiful kind of little glade or glen with a picnic table, and I got attacked by midges. So hopefully September is enough time for them not to be out anymore. So truth. We all want truth. We all want the powers that be to be truthful, to be honest. We want the people in our lives to be truthful. We want them to be heartfelt in their dealings with us. And we also want to be true to the nature of our soul calling. In which case, it will require us to be utterly heart-centered, fully truthful in our dealings with those around us. So, from a point of love, on a daily basis, check in with yourself. Check in whether your intentions are fully aligned, whether you are approaching somebody with a want or a need, and if so, be open and be honest about that from the outset. The language of the Atlanteans was incredibly simple. They simply stated their purpose, their intentions, their heart-centeredness, and this only began to change at the fall. And there's going to be some interesting work that Alice Heath and I do together on the 5th of September in our workshop together, stepping fully into your spiritual mission, because it embodies that period of time, that aspect where in Atlantis the utopia, and I will use the word utopia, the fifth dimensional utopia that we all lived in, was shattered, because it only took one person to misuse their intention and a crack in the kind of the field of light appeared. At the moment there are many fields of light, but there are also many shafts of darkness still. And as we progress through the final 3 months of this year, September now, September, October, November, December, by the time we hit the December solstice, we are going to be looking at completing one of the most incredible years that we've had so far on this ascension pathway. As I've said in previous videos, I'm in awe of this year. I'm in awe because of the changes that have been implemented, the incredible waves of wake up and resonance. Like, let's talk for a moment about the activation of the higher heart. In 2018, I was told by Archangel Metatron that every soul on the planet, very much like the third eye, the fifth veil of amnesia, every soul on the planet had their fifth dimensional heart center activated. And I was more than a little bit horrified at being told by Archangel Metatron that information needed to be public, that I had to speak about that. Because at that particular time, from a witness perspective, the world did not look or feel fifth dimensional. It looked very much like it was a fight against a rising tide of ego. So, on that particular note, I was then very kindly and gently told by Archangel Metatron that just to think about my own heart pathway, what happened when I started to work with my fifth dimensional heart center, what happened when I stepped away from working in a way that was consciously and unconsciously aligned with the ego, letting it control my thoughts, my words, my deeds, my actions, my directions, and align myself with the heart. What was the first thing that occurred? It was a dark night of the soul, for those of you that are wanting to know what the answer is. So immediately the activation worldwide occurred, a fifth dimensional heart center activation. The collective frequency had risen high enough, both from the work that was being done by the light workers and the light that was coming in from the cosmos on a build-up effect. All the heart centers were triggered. And therefore, from that point onwards, the people and the world around us has been going through a rolling process of dark night of the soul, one after the other. But what happened that was so significant this particular lionscape was the activation of the higher heart, thus creating another incredibly powerful wave of awakening. Now, the higher heart signifies unity. It signifies a coming together of hearts and minds and vibrations and souls, not just in the groups that we choose, but everywhere, everyone. That means embracing those that are currently still walking what we would regard to be a path of darkness. And again, you might be faced with these people and they will be speaking words of untruth. They might be saying one thing, radiating kind of light and positivity, but you can feel and you can tell immediately that their actual intentions are aligned with something different. This is something that we're going to have to navigate, but, and this is the big but of it all, if you are, and I am, and everybody else who is on this ascension pathway, standing in our mighty I am presence, anchoring in resolute truth, purity in thought, word and deed. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but that is what we are aiming for. We are aiming to be as heart aligned as possible. And of course, as human beings, we will make mistakes. We will have a day or maybe 2 days or maybe a week where we slip off the wagon and we do or say or act in the wrong way. That's human nature. But ultimately, we return back to that heart alignment. So we're going to be seeing with increasing clarity now the illusion that exists within the world around us. And it is therefore our duty as beings of light, let's say goodbye to this beautiful glade, to anchor in even more firmly. And this requires truth, it requires clarity. Every single word that we speak, check the gateway through which it is coming through. Okay? So when you wish to speak your truth to another, before you speak your truth, check very carefully that the words that you are about to speak are heart aligned. Because sometimes we can blurt out the truth. And the frequency is aligned with personal hurt, personal triggers, with anger. And when that occurs, the words cause damage. They might send somebody off on a tangent that is not aligned with their pathway at the time. This doesn't mean we don't call out the wrongdoings. Quite the opposite. But it's the emotional charge that we associate with the words that we speak that is more important than anything else. Words and actions of love are what will heal this planet. The words and the actions and the deeds, not the might do's, not the potentials, the actual physical actions that we are taking now. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I will look forward to seeing you joining Alice and I online on the 5th of September coming up. And I've got an event with just me on the 9th of September, Temples of the Sun and the Moon, again working with the divine feminine, divine masculine template anchored in an undistorted truth. So, from me and the lovely woods, farewell. And I will see you again soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.